Oh, sorry. What up, good people? This is Simona Ray from LitLoveJourney, and yeah, I'm coming to you for a quick reaction, not necessarily on a book, but on a person who's reading multiple books to improve how he speaks in this world. Kai Cenat's reading trend, and I don't want to say trend, but his reading habit rather, has been really cool to watch, right? As someone who is his senior by many years, to see a person his age at 24, have that level of vulnerability is so beautiful, because Lord knows reading has needed for a long time. I don't want to say a revamp or rebranding, but it takes all of us, right, to get folks back interested in picking up books. It will take all of us, right, because we've gotten so far away from reading being this daily practice and ritual, right? We have so many other things, right? So many other things that will sometimes take our mind and our bodies into a different realm, right? And this requires a different type of love, a different type of discipline than, say, these things. So I love it. I really do. And so me sharing my reaction to his reading on a consistent basis, I just wanted to share a couple other things. When it comes to reading, LitLoveJourney, we stand kind of in the intersection of many different things, right? I want to operate as a hub for a reading resource, right? I want to operate as a reading resource. And in saying that, that means that I'm looking out for you, the reader. I'm looking out for the avid readers, the folks who haven't picked up a book in a while. I'm looking out for those who aren't necessarily either of those categories, but they're book collectors. I'm looking out for those folks who just love being in literary spaces, right? So I say all that to say, there are multiple resources that you should have when you are reading. And it doesn't cost a lot, but it's just remembering to have them near, because it will improve your reading experience. One thing for sure is where you choose to read. I always just encourage folks to read where you are most comfortable. Like, decide and have a reading chair, something where you can sit or rock, or just have this level of comfort. Maybe it's having a cover over your leg, just something that makes the experience better, right? That too being said, I've read in bars, I've read in bookstores, I've read on the metro, I've read on the bus, I've read in, I want to say, club environments even. Like, so you don't always have to have the perfect conditions, but when you think consciously about, okay, what space do I want to make my own, like my own reading nook, I think then you will have a better experience. And, one thing to just kind of support that, think about all of the times that you've gone into a library. Maybe you have a favorite library. Mine is Francis Gregory in DC. I love that library, how it's set up, because there's so many warm spaces. And I don't just mean warm like by temperature. I mean just so many spaces where it's cozy for me to just settle in and open a book and feel like, okay, this feels good to my body, and for my mind to be able to absorb this story, whatever story it is I'm reading. So that's number one. Your environment in which you read can be a resource that can encourage and increase your level of reading, right? Or deepen your relationship with reading. And then two, have a bookmark near. It really doesn't matter what your bookmark is. You feel me? It doesn't have to be these fancy bookmarks. It doesn't have to be these, fabulous Dior, Christian Dior type book. It don't have to be all that. Sometimes whatever's near you. Right now, in one of my books, I'm using the Go-Go Museum and Cafe flyer as my bookmark, because that's my business, but also because why not? It does the trick. Just simply put that joint in there and put it on down. That's number two, having a bookmark near, because you never know when you need to stop and start your reading, right? I would always encourage you to stop your reading at the end of a chapter, because it does make it a bit easier. Like, that is one of the cool thing about, authors look out for us as readers to say, okay, this is where I think, you should end your reading. It's a nice bookend to say, okay, this is the moment where you can stop and, just close me, shut me down, and then pick me back up later. Number 3 resource, I would encourage you to have a notebook. Yes, a handy dandy notebook. Something small, something, clutch that you can literally just throw in your, knapsack. You can throw it in your pocketbook if you're a female. But I love having, anytime you see me reading at home or in outdoor settings, I'm going to have these two stacked together, a notebook and the actual book I'm reading. Third resource is a pen. You need a writing tool with you at all times. And I don't know if y'all remember these, but to me, they never went out of style, ever, ever, ever. Because, you have the opportunity to use green, blue, red, or black. And what I love about these types of pens is that you can designate a color to denote different, reactions within your book. So oftentimes than not, I will decide that red is going to be the color for me to look up something in a book or a dictionary, or research, something that I've read that I'm, wanting to fact check. I'll put it in red. If it's a vocabulary word that I'm looking to, integrate into my language and how I speak, I'll maybe choose black. Or green might be like just a funny comment, something that relates to me personally, right? And then typically I'll also designate a color for just a really impactful line, like a line that makes me pause, a line that I maybe want to share out on my page or share with a friend, or again just put into my lexicon. So those are 3 resources that I always recommend that readers have with them: the book itself, your notebook, your pen, and then, like I said, your bookmark. So sorry, these are the 4 things that I'm recommending that you always have: some type of bookmark, a pen, a notebook, and said book, right? So this is your stack. This is what your stack should look like as a reader. And I'm remiss because mine is on the shelf. However, I do tend to use the application a lot as well. So the app that I have on my phone, I don't know if you can see it very well. Get into the phone screen. It's this one right here. Oh, not that one. Oh Lord, I'm going everywhere but where I need to go. Hold on. It's that one right there. Oxford Dictionary and Thesaurus. I like the Oxford Dictionary and Thesaurus because, of course, there are words of the day. It gives you the pronunciation. And then when you look at the thesaurus, you also can see words that are synonyms and such. So I really enjoy that app. The stack, when you go about reading, wherever you're reading, indoor or outdoor, should look something like this. It's something like this, y'all. You got your pen. You got your pen. You got your dictionary. You have your dictionary. You have your bookmark. You have your notebook. And the reason why I kind of always put it into a notebook that is written for ideas is because usually writing that's really good, like if the story is really good, it will inspire something in you to write about, or it will inspire some level of change or adaptation that you may want to, incorporate into your own life. So I absolutely think, some of the best ideas that I've had for my, my work, for this LitLoveJourney, for my family, like it comes from reading a good story. And that story can be fiction. That story can be nonfiction. All the things, y'all. All the things. Because words are very much like equations. You know? They're meant to be solved, and they're meant to make us think and make us feel, and most importantly, make us do. So, happy reading, y'all. See y'all on the next go round.